All praise to the Most High God. Right, we back with another set of service to the Spirit and power of the Lord. Right, and as you can see on the board, the milk lesson is getting households in order. Right, so that's what every brother have to do within these last days. Get your household in order. Right, give me 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 14 to kick it off. Second Ezra chapter 14, verse 14.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 14.
Right.
Let go from thee, mortal thoughts.
What's the Bible say?
Let go from thee, mortal thoughts.
So first and foremost, you got to let go of mortal thoughts. Right? A mortal thought is worrying about, you stressing about finances. Right? Those are all mortal thoughts, man. Oh, how can I make it in this world? I got to do X, Y, and Z. You damn losing sleep. Now you got damn gray hair, damn hairline receding, because you stressing about damn finances. The Lord said you got to let go of those mortal thoughts. Keep reading.
Cast away the burdens of man.
You got to cast away the burdens of man. Right? That's the burden of man. Right? The Lord said you got to cast that away. You got to cast all your cares, your burdens upon the Lord. That just states in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. Because we about to be out of here soon. You see the prophecies coming to pass. You see all hell breaking loose. You see World War III going up. You see inflation going on. And those are all indicators to let us know that we're living in the last days. And we can't be stressing about the things of this world. Because everything that you see around you is temporary. But the word of the Lord abides forever. And the promises that the Lord got set up for Israel are surely going to come to pass. Keep reading, brother.
Put off now the weak nature.
You got to put off the weak nature. The scriptures say you got to gird up the loins of your mind. Matter of fact, let me bring that out in the book of Job, chapter 38, verse 3. Hold that, King. What did the Lord tell Job to do? Let's bring it out. Remember, Job was being afflicted. The name Job means affliction. Right? So let's get Job, chapter 38, verse 3. All right, bear with me. It's the book of Job, chapter 38, verse 3. And it reads thus. Gird up now the loins, so I can gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. So the Lord told Job to gird up his loins. What does it mean to gird up your loins? It means to be strong, man up. Right? Because men in the ancient world, when we went to war, we had girdles about our loins. Right? To keep us from getting thrust through. So when the Lord tells us to gird up our loins, he's saying, man up. Be a warrior. Be a soldier for Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Okay, read on.
And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy.
And you got to set aside heavy thoughts. Right? What's a heavy on finances? I got to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, man, I'm stressing. I keep dealing with this sin. I keep battling with it. Oh, man, I'm going through it. And you damn near giving that. Now, you got to put your faith in the Most High. That he's going to deliver you from whatever you're going through. Right? You may be having marriage issues, right? You may be having finance issues, going from job to job, or you may not have a job. But you got to put your care upon the Most High. You got to have faith that the Lord is going to deliver you out of every situation that you're in. Give me Psalm chapter 34, verse 6. Hey, it's impossible to please the Lord without faith. That's in the book of Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 6. Bring it out, Ken.
The book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 6.
Right?
This poor man cried.
What the Bible say?
This poor man cried.
Hey, we poor men that cry. And we sigh for all the abominations that we done in the midst of us. Jake literally shed tears in his truth, man. So this poor man cried, and what the Lord said?
And Yahweh heard him.
And the what?
And Yahweh heard him.
It said the Most High heard him. So don't think that the Most High is not hearing your prayers. As long as you serving him in truth and in sincerity, praying in the spirit and making supplications in the spirit, the Most High is hearing your prayers. Read on.
And saved him out of all his trouble.
And did what?
Saved him out of all his trouble.
Hey, and the Most High is going to save us out of all our troubles. So whatever troubles that you're dealing with, understand that the Most High is going to deliver you from it. You may have trouble getting your household in order. And that's why we sit down and do lessons like this to help brothers and build brothers in the spirit. All right? Keep reading.
The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivers them.
And do what?
And delivers them.
And go back to 2nd Ezra 14.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14, and verse 16.
Right?
For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter.
Hey, greater evils are coming on the earth. So if you're stressing about little things, you're not going to make it in Jacob's trouble. Because in Jacob's trouble, all hell going to be breaking loose.
Right.
Your faith is really going to get tested in that day. That's what the Bible calls the hour of temptation. Song of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, calls the fear in the night. That's Jacob's trouble. Matter of fact, let me bring that out. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Hit that light, brother. Revelation chapter 3 verse 10. So, Jake, you can't stress. You can't worry. You can't be in in struts. And you crying and you're mourning and you're depressed. You should not be depressed in this truth, man. Depression is a demon. Right? Anxiety is a demon. You got Esau that come up with fancy terminology for it, but it's all spirits. Right? The scriptures say rejoice evermore in the book of 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. So you got to rejoice that you're in this truth. The Lord told us to hold back our eyes from tears. In the book of Isaiah, I believe it's the 25th chapter. Let me bring this out. Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Now, what's the hour of temptation? That's Jacob's trouble. That's the time in which you're going to be tempted by the Lord, man. Right? You might go a week or two without eating. Right? Your life literally might be in danger. Bullets flying over your head. Esau might grab up the woman thorn in the FEMA camp. Put your children to death. Right? These are all the things that we got to understand. We got to put ourselves in a warrior-like mentality. If you're losing faith right now, straight up, brother, you're not going to make it in the day of Jacob's trouble. And it reads thus, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So the Lord is going to try the men that dwell upon the earth, and we're going to be tried in that day. It states that in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 70. Hey, it said the enemy shall come in like a flood. They're going to break down our doors, put that AK-47 to our head, and tell us to announce the Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And that's going to be trying times right there, because you're going to have many brothers that deny the Lord. And we pray we're not those men. Right. Go back to 2nd Ezra 14.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14, and verse 17.
Yep.
For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase.
And evils are increasing on the earth, man. Every time you look up, you turn in the news, somebody getting shot, or stabbed, or raped. So it's a lot of evils that's reigning upon the earth because we live in the 4th seal, man. And what's after the 4th seal, the 5th seal? Jacob's trouble, persecution. The time in which the men of the Lord are going to be tried, man. Right now, your faith is being tried on the low level. But in that day, it's going to intensify. This is why you brothers, we got to be stocking up on wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. Bring that out, brother. One of my favorite precepts. If you're not stocking up on knowledge right now, you're not in the right spirit. You should be gaining the precepts, going into the breakdowns, studying to show yourself approved, as it states in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 28. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6 and verse 10. Bring this out, brother.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 36 and verse 6.
Right?
Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt.
What I tell you to get?
Isaiah
33 and 6. But that, hey, Salaki, that's the spirit, because the Israelites do trust in the shadow of Egypt. You go to the white man for everything, whether it's your food, your resources, your raiment, your what, brother? Entertainment. Yeah, Jake is into that social media, TikTok, okay, Instagram, Twitter. Right? They fall in love with the entertainment of the so-called white man, and they trust in Egypt. So when Egypt falls, a lot of you Israelites going to fall. Bring it out, King.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, and verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time.
See that wisdom and knowledge is going to keep you stable. Having an understanding of these precepts, that's going to keep you sane in the day of the Lord. Hey, the scripture said in Romans chapter 15, verse 4, whatsoever was written aforetime is written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So the scriptures give us patience, to give us comfort, to give us hope. So the point is, when we have the wisdom and knowledge, that's going to keep us stable. When it's famines, when it's persecution, when it's pestilence, when it's thousands of people dying around you, you having the knowledge of the scriptures is going to keep you sane. Keep reading, brother.
And strength of salvation.
And what?
Strength of salvation.
And strength of salvation. So this is how you build up your strength unto salvation. By getting into the precepts, by praying, by studying, by fasting, by coming together among your brothers, seeking counsel if you're going through something. This is how you build yourself up for the day of the Lord. And again, the lesson is getting your household in order, because that's what we have to do within these last days. Hey, if you don't get your household in order, the Most High can take you out of the way. Give me Sirach chapter 27, verse 3. That's important, man. That's one of the fundamental things that you need to grow in this knowledge. Like a household that's in order. Sirach 27 and 3.
The book of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord.
And you got to hold yourself diligently in the fear of the Lord. See, the Most High deals with a diligent man. A man that's consistent. Not a sloth. Right? Not a sluggard. Not a lazy individual, but a man that's diligent within prophecies, diligent within his household, so on and so forth. Keep reading.
His house shall soon be overthrown.
So if you don't hold yourself diligent and fear the Most High by keeping His commandments, your house going to be overthrown. It's going to begin to decay. You got it, brother.
You can bring out 1 Timothy 5 and 8, right? If you're not getting your household in order, what type of man are you? All right. It's like we got the household of the Lord, and then we have our own households, right? With our women and our children. All right.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5, verse 8.
Right.
But if any provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, he have denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
Right, even in the temple. Right, they had to provide for the house. Right, they had to provide for the temple and everybody in the temple. Right, they had to do the work. In your own household, you have to do the work. You got to go get a job. Right, you got to provide. You got to feed your kids. Right, and you also can't be a learner in your household as well. Just being a negative. You know. Yeah, we get it. You're an Israelite man, and that's beautiful. That's mighty. Right, the Lord ordained that to happen. But that doesn't give you jurisdiction to kind of just be a negative and kind of just being an asshole. You know, you leaving your clothes everywhere on purpose. You smash the dishes and shit clean it up. You know, don't be that type of guy. Alright? Because that could destroy your whole household. You trying to bring out Sirach 27 and 3 here?
The book of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown.
Right? If he's not holding himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, then his household shall be overthrown. In other words, the Lord is going to inflict that man with spirits and demons, right? And he's trying to figure out, well, why is my wife doing this? Why are my kids listening to me? I tried to tell, brother, you're not getting yourself in order, right? You stop praying, you stop reading with them, you know. You don't want to give them any time of day, you know. You got to be a just balance in this thing. All right, you can go to Titus 2 and 2.
The book of Titus, chapter 2 and 2. That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience.
And although it says aged men, this can also apply to any brother. All right, go ahead.
The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not giving too much wine, teachers of good things.
Right, and a man has to tell that woman how to behave, right? How to move in righteousness, right? Be a precepts. You go on.
That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed.
And what else it say?
And young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
Right. So we have to teach our household how to do X, Y, and Z, how to properly serve the Lord. Now we understand every household is going to be a little bit different in how they go about doing that, but nonetheless, we have to be doing it. You know, hey, some brother's family, hey, they may read this thing, they may fast this thing, right? You got a certain schedule on how they do X, Y, and Z, and how everything runs smoothly, right? Every man's household is his own company, all right? And not every company that Esau has, they don't all run the exact same. But nonetheless, you see them running, right? He's still functioning, all right?
Precept. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 19. Right? So the brother bringing it out, man. It all goes back to what? Building up your household as well. And so we all should be building up our household in these last days. Right? Praying for your wives and your children. Right? Studying. Right? You can make a schedule for your woman. Right? Put on a set schedule, have her reading, you know, whether it's Sirach 25, Sirach 26, 1 Peter the 3rd chapter, Titus the 2nd chapter, right? Proverbs 31. Give her all the precepts and the food that she needs to become a righteous woman. Okay? Keep reading, brother.
In the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 16 and verse 19, the churches of Asia salute you. Aquila and Priscilla salute you much in the Lord, with the church that is in their house.
With the what?
The church that is in their house.
So they had a church within their households, right? And the churches is when two or three are gathered together in the name of the Most High, right? But your house should be a spiritual house. Your house shouldn't be a place of chaos and confusion, madness and disarray. That's an abomination, man. Your house should be a house of peace, right? It should be the Most High within your household, man. Straight up and down. You know, when you come in the house, it shouldn't be, you know, you just get hit with chaos and confusion and madness and disorientation.
Why you coming home late? Where is this?
Yeah,
What's that, nigga?
Yeah, that's madness, man. Right, and again, like the brother said, you shouldn't be a lion in your household. You should be patient with your woman. And we know how things may get sometimes. We in the flesh. But guess what? We got the scriptures, man. We got Yahweh Shemiah Shah. We got faith. We got thus saith the Lord. Right, so within every means of temptation, the Most High will give you a way to escape. Right, through the precepts.
And your household is a reflection of you. If your household is sloppy and they forget stuff and they're not doing X, Y, and Z, hey, they're a carbon copy of you, man. If you figure out, if a man see you, why don't do like that? Look at the man first. Because he's supposed to be in charge of that company. And if that company going to shit, then hey, that's on him. He's the, what do they call it, the CEO.
That's the Rock chapter 10 and verse 1. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
Even in a household.
Much more in the household.
Yeah.
Right? Because everything starts within your household. Right? Jake is a reflection of how he grew up within his household. Right? You might have grew up around a family, all they say is make all day. Cuss and scream. And you still got that same spirit when you get older, man. Because that's the thing that you grew up in. That's the conditions of the environment that you was raised up in. Right? And we got to break generational curses, man. If you grew up in a household where there was confusion and madness going on, you try your best in your spirit to abstain from all of that and be a better man. Be temperate. Be diplomatic. Right? You got it, brother. Got a precept? First Timothy chapter 3, verse 7. Bring that up.
In the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 7. Likewise, must the deacons be brave, not double-tongued.
Read it, sir. For 1 Peter.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, and verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
You got to dwell with your woman according to knowledge, man. Not as a niggard, not as a drunkard, not as a glutton, but as a man of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Read on. And Salaki, you and your wife got to be on one accord. And y'all gotta agree together, as it states in Sirach chapter 25, verse 1. Right? Keep reading.
Dwell with him according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Right? And the wife is the weaker vessel. And not to say she don't know a damn thing, or she's incoherent. That's not what it means to be the weaker vessel. Right? This just means she's under the man. Right? And that's the order that the Lord set up in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. Right? Adam was first created, then Eve. Okay? So it has to be an order even within a household. Right? Your woman can't buck up again. Look, this is what I said. Right? And she throwing stuff at you. Right? And she kicking you out.
Scratch you.
And scratching you.
Spitting your clothes, cutting it up.
And breaking doors out off the damn hinges. That's an abomination, man. So woman too, you gotta get yourself in order. Just like we getting on brothers, we getting on a woman. Right? And this goes for everybody in here, man. 'Cause we all got households. Right? Keep reading.
As being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
And that's what you gotta think about. Right? Because whatever you bound in heaven or bound on earth is gonna be bound in heaven. Right? The woman you married to right now, that's the woman you're going to be with in the kingdom of heaven. All right? So you got to make sure, y'all praying, y'all fasting, get y'all spirit together with each other.
That's right, that's right.
And your wife should be like your best friend. Right? That's the woman, you see every day.
Yeah, that's your sister, man.
Yeah. Right.
You got ears to hear,
Yeah. Straight up and down. So, y'all got to be on one accord. Give me Amos chapter 3, verse 3. This is the classic.
This book of Amos.
So like, nothing will ever be right if you and your wife not on one accord. If she got a different doctrine, right, than you. Y'all never going to agree together. There's always going to be arguments. There's always going to be back and forths. And that's not a household that you want to dwell with, man. So you got to make sure you're patient with your woman, temperate, diplomatic. I'm going to keep saying that word. And that God will look it up. All right, bring it up.
This book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3.
All right.
Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Hey, can two walk together except they be agreed? So you can't walk with your wife if y'all not on one accord. Okay? So we're going to look up the word diplomatic. All right. I like the second definition. It says having or showing an ability to deal with people in a sensitive and effective way. Synonyms: tactful, sensitive, subtle, delicate, discreet, judicious, discerning, prudent, clever, skillful, polite, thoughtful, understanding, careful. So that's how you're supposed to deal with women in general. Right? Because we know women are the weaker vessel. We know sometimes they get emotional. We know sometimes logic can go out the damn window. And that's when you got to remain, skillful, thoughtful. You got to play chess in this thing. Right? Your brothers have ears to hear. Employing tact and conciliation or conciliation, especially in situations of stress. That's mighty right there, man. And we get stressful. We get stressed out dealing with our wives, but nonetheless, we have to still remain diplomatic. Because we the heads of the household. Right? So that's that, man. And Yahweh Shai, he's diplomatic in a certain extent, man. Right? Yahweh Shai is patient and prudent. Matter of fact, say something, brother. Let me look at this precept.
Oh, it's Sirach 25 and 3.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 3. And it reads, if thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find anything in thy age?
You gotta get this while you can, right? Get it while you're young now, right? If you don't understand and fully fathom and sponge this all up, then you're not gonna get nothing when you're older. You're going through a lot. Oh man, we're going through it for years. It's because you don't want to hearken while the knowledge is presented before you.
Precept, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 16. Because one of the synonyms was prudent. Look up prudent, Raul. Bring it up.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 16.
Right?
Every prudent man.
Every prudent man. See, Jacob's not a prudent man. Right? Jacob's a coarse man. Right? Jacob's a rough man. Rash. Hasty. You know, and that, as men of the Lord, we can't be that way. Right? We are the most high, one of the next leaders of the planet Earth, right? So we gotta move in a king-like and priestly way. Right? Kings don't move in haste. Kings don't move rash. They sit back, they remain thoughtful and tactical, and they go about their business in an intelligent way. But bring this out, prudent. It's acting with or showing care and thought for the future. So sometimes you got to think about the consequences behind your actions. Right? If I say this or if I do this, what's going to happen? Right? And you know your woman better than anybody else, man. So you know the things that you say that can tick her off, or the way in which you can say it that can provoke her spirit. So you got to know all those things and just remain what? Diplomatic. All right? Now give me 1 Samuel, Salaki. Would you go with Proverbs 13:16? All right, bring it out.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 13, and verse 16.
All right.
Every prudent man deals with knowledge.
So if you're a prudent man, you're going to deal with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Read on.
But a fool layeth open his folly.
But a fool's folly is presently known. Don't be in the ball. Right. Now give me 1 Samuel 16:18. And it's all a learning process. It's all about progression, man. It's all about building up, brothers. Because nobody's perfect. We understand things happen, incidents happen within the household. But that's where repentance coming in and striving for perfection. Matthew chapter 5, verse 48. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 13. I'm going to bring out this. First, now this is King David. Bring it out, right?
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16, and verse 18. Then answered one of the servants and said, Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, right, that is cunning and plain.
Right, so David can play the harp very well. He was a man of skill. Right? He was a singer, dancer, and he also played that harp. He was excellent and eloquent within instruments. Bring it up.
And a mighty valiant man, and a man of war.
Right, and David won many wars with the heathen. He thrust them through. David was a righteous killer, man. He was putting the heathen to flight. Keep reading.
And prudent in matters.
He was what?
Prudent in matters.
So he was prudent in matters. He was wise when it came to various situations. Read on.
And a comely person. And the Lord is with him.
And the Lord is with him. So the Lord has to be with you in these last days. How will the Lord be with you? Praying, fasting, studying, repenting, right? Putting on the spirit of your forefathers, being mighty, being valiant, and being prudent in matters. And these are all attributes that you gotta have to build up your household.
You gotta listen to your woman, not in the sense that she's always right, but if she's expressing something to you, you gotta hearken. You can't just say, oh, you don't want to, shit.
Kind of just cover your ears and take the kid. And she might be expressing it in a way in which you don't like sometimes. She might get loud, move it. 2 and 13. We gotta be realistic. She might get loud. Right? She might say the same thing over and over again. You gotta just kind of listen. You know what I'm saying? And if she's going off, of course you rebuke her through the knowledge of the scriptures. Right? Sometimes, like the brother said, you gotta just listen to it. Man. And it's not called being a saint. That's just called being diplomatic and being wise and being intelligent.
Abraham was a Hebrew.
Tobit 2 and 13.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 2, and verse 13. Verse 11. And my wife Anna did take women's works to do.
Right? And so, you say, she can work, right? If that's how you make the household, going to be running order. All right? But go ahead.
And when she had sent them home to the owners, they paid her wages and gave her also besides a kid.
They didn't give her a little boy, not a little girl. Let's talk about the animal, right? Let's move up for Israel, right? This is a goat, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, little baby goat. And that's beautiful. That's better than the damn goat. Esau gave me $200 bonus one. Hey man, that's a goat. Yeah, after 6 to 12 months. And you get a goat, man, you make money off that. make some goat milk, sell it, do some stuff. Cheese. So that's a nice thing. And that's what she got. She got a little baby goat. Ooh, baby goat. Oh, there it goes. See that? That's what she got. Little baby goat. You know, and Jake, don't think goats are wicked. You know, we understand he's an herb person, he's goats. You can have a goat if you want, you know. But you can go back to it.
Verse 12. And when she had sent them home to the owners, they paid her wages and gave her also besides a kid.
Right?
And when it was in my house and began to cry, I said unto her, from whence is this kid?
Where the hell this kid come from? Where the hell this goat come from? Go ahead. Because you got to understand, he's blind. So he can't really see what's going on. Go ahead.
Is it not stolen? Render it to the owner. For it is not lawful to eat anything that is stolen.
So Toby kind of, going in, like, you stole this. Send it back. What you doing? Go ahead.
But she replied upon me, it was given for a gift, more than the wages. Howbeit, I did not believe her.
Right, so he's not believing. He's not really hearkening, So there's accounts in marriages in the scriptures. Go ahead.
But begged her, render it to the owners, and I was abashed at her.
He was embarrassed. Hey, go get this back to the owners. You going off, right?
But she replied upon me,
It's like he said you stole, without any proof of evidence. Go ahead.
But she replied upon me, where are thine alms and thy righteous deeds? Behold, thou and all thy works are known.
Like, you got it.
I'm going to read it again. It's the book of Tobit, chapter 2, and verse 14. But she replied upon me, it was given for a gift more than the wages. Howbeit, I did not believe her, but bade her render it to the owners. And I was abashed at her. But she replied upon me, where are thine alms and thy righteous deeds? Behold, thou and all thy works are known.
And that was a righteous response. They could have said, she could have just gone off, kind of left, felt offended, and she responded righteously, right? That's belief that he hearkened to it, So that's just an example when you gotta listen to your if your woman's expressing something to you, you gotta hearken. Does that mean all the time now? Even care that one thing? Oh yeah, all got this now. No, right? That's yeah. And I can't remember what the advice said, but he said you gotta listen to them all the time, and your wife is right sometimes, something like that, some to that extent, because the Most High can put it in her spirit to tell you something, You got it. You walking.
Like you just said, I got a precept in there.
Bring it out.
Judges 13 and 22 through 23.
Judges 13, 22 to 23.
We just started 21.
It's the book of Judges, chapter 13, verse 21. But the angel of the Lord did no more appear to Manoah and to his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was an angel of the Lord. And Manoah said unto his wife, we shall surely die, because we have seen God. But his wife said unto him, if the Lord were pleased to kill us, he would not have received a burnt offering and a meat offering at our hands. Neither would he have shewed us all these things, nor would as at this time have told us such things as these. And the woman bare a son, and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him.
It's a good precept. Go ahead, brother.
So your woman can kind of give you wisdom.
Hey, you gotta speak up.
I say, so your woman can kind of give you wisdom. Because you thought he was going to die because he was angry. And his woman kind of said, hey.
And she was comforting him, And that's what our woman have to do. You gotta comfort your man in righteousness, right? And especially if he's, hey, again, we're all going to go through it, right? There's not one man that hasn't gone through it, man. So sometimes if you feel a little, your woman deserves to exhort you, make you feel better through the spirit,
It's supposed to be a pillar of rest. That's another thing. The woman has to be a pillar of rest, man. I say, God, don't say, oh, you can do it. No, man, you gotta be there for him. Give him precepts if need be. Right? Woman, you can give your man precepts. That's not saying you gotta break him down to him and do all that. Just give him the precepts. And if he's a man of understanding, he know what those precepts mean. Right? And don't be that woman that's not being a comfort to your man. Give me Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8, verse 9.
Hold on real quick. Job chapter Oh, you already got it?
The book of Job, chapter 2, verse 9. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou retain thy integrity? Curse God and die.
Instead of saying, hey, baby, don't worry about it, let's fast, let's pray together, turn everything back to him. Said, she could have said, oh, hold up. She did get back massage. She could have went to work, kind of, did some stuff, huh? Rub his boils, kind of, give him a bath. She could have did some stuff. But instead she said, no, Chris got to die.
You could have gave him some remedies for it.
Yeah.
Right? She could have did something. She could have been a comfort to that man. But instead, she kind of lost faith. And that can bring the man down.
That man.
That can bring his
part.
spirit down.
Perfect.
Like that. My woman saying this to me. Man.
Well, what did he say in verse 10?
Verse 10. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speak.
And he said he's speaking like a fool, man.
That's a man of the Lord.
Yeah. And he said, is he wrong? No.
A white man listen.
Okay, baby.
I got a precept.
He would have said, sorry, baby. There's more.
What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips.
See that? He was still standing in the spirit. And she wasn't being a pillar of rest until faith still remained in the spirit. And sometimes you got to do that as well. If your woman's not being a pillar of rest, you got to still stay in the spirit. You can't always rely upon her to be a pillar of rest, right? Because, all hell can break loose. You can't just depend on her all the time. This is just balance, of course, but you can't just be my pillar of rest, baby. And you got to be strong yourself.
You got to hold your own weight in this thing.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of our women, let's just keep it real, they grew up under Babylonian tradition, right? They grew up to hate men, right? Right? As much as they might deny it, but that spirit may still be indebted in them, right? So we got to understand that, realize that, and act accordingly. But this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 9. Therefore I purpose to take her to live with me, knowing that she will be a counselor of good things. So your woman is supposed to be a counselor of good things, not negative, not always talking about somebody, always stressed out, right? And then they say, and a comfort in cares and griefs. So a woman has to be a comfort in the time of cares and grief, right? And that's pretty much it, man. What you got, Ken?
Proverbs 31:26.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 31, and verse 26. She opened her mouth with wisdom.
She do what?
Opened her mouth with wisdom.
She opened up her mouth with wisdom. Right? Not open her mouth to belittle you, call you less of a man, right? To scorn you, mock you, cuss you out, call you out your name, threaten to kick you out. That's the Eve in the world. Don't be that Eve you really in the world. You may got a dress and a hair wrap on, but you come in the spirit of a nigga woman. Keep reading on to that, brother.
And in her tongue is the law of kindness.
And in her tongue is the law of kindness, so she's supposed to be kind. You got it, brother.
I got one more 25 and 26.
What does it mean to be kind? To be nice. You don't want to be a mean woman in this thing. You want to be nice to your man, temperate. Right? Keep reading.
Book of 1 Samuel, chapter 25, and verse 23. And when Abigail saw David, she hastened and lightened off the ass, and fell before David on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said, Upon me, my Lord, upon me let this iniquity be, and let thy handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thine audience.
And see, this is a mighty account right here. This is a mighty account. Abigail was the wife of Nabal, the damn fool, who pretty much railed on David. And he was talking sugar honey iced tea to David's servants, man. Right? And David was ready, he was prepared to put Nabal to death. And Abigail knew that. So what? She went in the kitchen, she did what she had to do, right? And she ran out to meet David and his servants and bowed her face toward the earth in regards to spare her husband's life. And she said, look, let this be upon me. I don't want this upon my man. Kill me. Put me to death. Right? So how many of your women ready to die for their man? That's the spirit that you gotta have. And that goes to show you that she cared about her man. He might have been a nigga, a fool, a drunkard, a glutton, but she still had love toward him. Right? So even if your man going up, that don't give you means to damn leave or to try to put him off or get a divorce or commit adultery. That's wicked, right? You still got to deal with that man. Most I can put a change of heart on you. Yeah. How about pray for your man? How about fast with your man? How about gather up some precepts and send to your man?
That's all I want to add on to what you were saying. To make a point that you were saying, you gotta look at it like this. Even in Israel, the brother have a bugged out doctrine. But guess what? His woman is right there. The woman is right there with him with that bugged out doctrine.
I was gonna say, you'd be surprised every Monday, or every other Monday on a Monday Night Fire, right? We have to cause, even have a sister saying, well, my husband, we believe in this doctrine, we believe in that doctrine. And we tell her the same thing over and over. You gotta come in, we said in the coming way, we said, you gotta deal with it, right? In layman's terms, you gotta deal with it. Of course, we'll provide precepts, the comfort, the exhortation, but in short, you have to deal with it. Right? This applies to the man as well. If a woman want to wear pants now, if you don't want to read no more, y'all already married, you gotta deal with it. Especially if she or he pleases to dwell with you. That's just why you gotta kind of stay strong. And that, that doesn't give you an excuse to kind of just leave and, forget about it, get a new woman.
You gotta stick it through.
And we always tell her this too. Because we seen it happen. If you're righteous, keep the commandments to the best of your ability, that's going to rub off on you. Right? The same way a wicked man's spirit can rub off on a brother, and a righteous spirit can rub off on another wicked person. And sees, start putting on fringes all day, praying. Maybe I've heard it. Oh, you talking about this? That's not what that's. Maybe just one day. Hey, it's all, it all takes time. You gotta be patient in this thing.
I got a precept. Proverbs 29:2. Yeah, because man, the spirit that you come in, that's going to be the spirit of your household. All right, bring it up.
Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
When you're a righteous man and you're in a position of power, everybody's going to rejoice. Your household is going to be a happy house. Keep reading.
But when the wicked bear a fool, the people mourn.
But when the wicked bear fool, the people mourn. Now everybody in your household mourning, crying, don't know the precepts, confounded. Why? Because you're a wicked guy. Give me Sirach chapter 10 and verse 4.
The book of Sirach chapter 10 and verse 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord.
And we all know that. The Most High runs this earth. Break it up.
And in due time,
in its appointed time, read on.
he will set over it one that is profitable.
See that? So the Most High is going to set up a profitable man in a position of power. The Most High not going to set a nigga up to lead the nation of Israel. Right? Because guess what? That nation will be out of order. Right? That nation will be in disarray. Okay? So you got to be that man that's profitable for your household, for your brothers, for yourself, for the ministry. You got to be profitable. You got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you profitable? You got to know. Some people in 5. It's the precept.
1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 5. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how should he take care of the church of God?
That's plain and plain. You can't get things in order in that sense. Hey man, you can't get a in order. You can't get yourself in order. Yeah. And you damn sure can't teach. Right? Because guess what? That's being a hypocrite. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27. So yeah, you gotta know how to get your household in order. And again, sometimes it takes time. It takes progress. It takes, slip ups every now and then so you can learn from your mistakes. It takes experience. It takes a lot, man. But if you trust in the Most High, hey, the Most High gonna see you through it. You gotta go.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 9 and verse 27. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
You gotta keep your body under subjection. That's what Jake failed to do. Read on.
Lest that by any means, when I have preached to others.
I have what?
I have preached to
Others.
others.
Preaching to others. This man breaking it down. Read on.
I myself should be a castaway.
But now you're down castaway. Right? Because you didn't keep your body under subjection. You taught men thou shalt not steal, but you was going to the damn Walmart stealing supplies. Stealing batteries, nails and wood from Home Depot. Right. You was going, you teaching men they can't steal. You don't. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, big man. Pipes. Much good deed. Hey, it's real get the point, man.
Yeah.
Drill bits. Exactly.
We trying to find it out. So let's bring it out again.
It's the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 13.
Right?
Now, therefore, set thine house in order.
And that's the topic. Set thine house in order. You can't just worry about yourself and it's selfish. You're a nigger. Look up nigger. Alright? You don't want to be a nigger in this thing. It's just about understanding within your household. It's all about gaining understanding. You and your wife have to gain understanding. That's what it's about. We have to be patient with each other. We have to be temperate. We have to be forbearing as well. Alright, so niggards, a meaningly covetous and stingy person. Yeah, that's off, man. You can't be stingy towards your household.
You had the pie all the way in the back of the refrigerator. Nobody else to get it.
You got a safe. You got a safe in the refrigerator. You gotta come to you to eat.
Brother, you would give it, damn, brother, you would feed your household, you hiding that pie all by yourself, your favorite cookies, don't put them in the bed, nobody wants to find it.
You come back.
Again, you can have your things, but don't do that for everything.
Yeah. You come in the house with just food for yourself.
Yeah. What's for dinner? What's for dinner, pie? You got
That's that. Oh, this is me. I ain't getting nothing for y'all. Hey, I know what you wanted.
man, I kind of experienced that, man. That's a bad feeling. It's like, damn, what you doing?
And then they say a penny pincher, a pinch penny, a cheese horror, Scrooge, an order,
A magpie.
a collector, a gatherer, accumulator, a magpie, a squirrel, a Puritan, right? An ungenerous nigger. So you don't want to be ungenerous in this thing. You gotta give to your household. Freely receive, freely you give. That's right. Your household, that's you. Your household is a part of you. So if you defraud in your household, you pretty much hate yourself. You loathe yourself. Great. Yeah, everything you had, that's what your household had.
Yeah.
Straight up and down. There's no such, this is mine. There's no such thing as that when you're in your household. Everything is your wife's. Everything that belongs to your wife is yours, man. Right?
Did a Tobin wife say that?
Hey,
Where's your arms? It's right here before you.
you can go to Sirach
25:1.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 1. In 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful before God and men.
This is beautiful before the Heavenly Father. All right? Go ahead.
The unity of brethren.
Right, that's mighty. Right? We got unity in this room. Go ahead.
The love of neighbors.
We love our neighbors. We love our brothers.
A man and a wife that agree together.
Man and a wife that agree together. That's mighty. And again, hey, it's your household. All right? Hey, and when you first start speaking to this woman, right? And you building up your house, slowly but surely. All right? And once you finish building something, you feel good, right? You feel satisfaction, done. Well, you're not really done, but the point is, I'm just making an example, right? You build up a house, doing this, doing work, you sweat, sometimes you get mad, you frustrated, something not working out. And even in your actual household, so may not be working out. You gotta keep fixing, you gotta go get some tools, you gotta get some more tools. And in this example, I gotta seek counsel, they got somebody counsel, do more, how do I put it in this toilet to make it flush? The brothers, people who put it down, these tools are the precepts, man. Right. You're gonna get a lot of precepts under your belt to make sure your house is built correctly. Right. And if it's not, hey man, it's gonna fall apart. You need your hard hat, you need all the tools necessary to build up your house first. You gotta be built on the foundation. It's a solid foundation. If you wanna build your house upon sand, and mud, what else? On the water. Hey man, gotta be on a solid foundation. Who's the foundation? Who's the foundation? Who's the chief artist on your house shot? That's right. So don't build up your household off of lust. She look fine. You fall in love with photographs. Now you see your whole life with her. Damn, she's pretty. She looks nice. I like her hair. I wonder what she can do. Man, I might as well marry her. Brother, if you don't have her, you don't got the tools on, your hard hat backwards, you don't know how to hold the hammer. Your household will fall apart. You build the foundation on lust. You just order one too.
Proverbs 24.
Proverbs 24, 3.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 3. Through wisdom is in house building, and by understanding it is established.
Through wisdom is a house building, and by understanding it is established. It's like the brother said, a house can be built off lust. That's tangible. That doesn't have substance. That doesn't have any essence. Right? There's no love in that. Where's the love in lust? That's why it's lust. You know, it's just off your pleasure. Now you gotta look at her every day, and now y'all don't have nothing in common. When you get to hate her, yeah, you hate her now. She put ketchup on her eggs. You don't like that. You gotta see that every morning. She may pray a little differently. You gotta see that every morning. She may speak a little off. You gotta deal with it now, because you broke the foundation off of lust. Now she'll wipe the apple. Now you gotta learn how to build up this house. It's all falling apart. Without wood falling in your damn head, you trumping, that nails coming up, toilet don't work. That's your house now. You live in it, And you're not gonna move in a bad house. No brother is gonna move in a house that's roach infested. Right? It might got rats in the damn pipes. Right? It might got a smell to it. You just can't get the smell out. And bleached it, washed it with meat treated soap, nasty, but it still has that smell of mildew. Right? So you don't want to get a house that's jammed up. Likewise with a woman. Don't go take a woman that you know is just completely off. You know she got doctrines, you know she got a spirit on her, but you just looking at her line. Or you looking at what she got. The jumping is from. Yeah. That's not sincere. That's not how you treat your sister, man. Why are you treating your sister like that? Some people go big foundation off of us, others do it on finances. You just know, somehow that she comes from a rich family. And you kind of depend on her to kind of do some stuff for you. Now you budget your house off, old nasty money. You have no integrity, man. Love money. Ask your household like $2 grand. This is my household. This helping us out. I'll pay it back. Don't move like that. So don't build your house off lust. Don't do it off finances. You have to move in righteousness. Sirach chapter 7, verse 36. And again, you got to trust the process. Look at that sign. Trust the process. It's about consistency. How you think Kobe got to be an incredible basketball player? He trusted the process. He was consistent. He was in that gym day in and day out. All right? So look up trust the process. Meaning. Trust the process. I don't want to be followed. Got it. See, trust the process. Have faith that everything will work out as planned. See that? So you gotta have faith that everything is gonna work out. So sometimes it might look like, damn, I done got myself in a bad situation. Right? You might feel like you made regret, you got regrets. But you can't feel that way. You gotta just trust in the process. You gotta trust and you gotta have faith that everything is gonna work out as planned. And I have a precept on that. Sirach chapter 7, verse 36.
The book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 36.
We think they get these sayings from. Thus saith the Lord in the scriptures. You got it, brother.
Whatsoever thou takest in hand, remember the end.
Do what?
Remember the end.
So whatever you take up in your hand, whether that be a wife, whether that be a household, whether that be a damn car, right? Whatever you take up in your hand, remember the end. Read on.
And thou shalt never do amiss.
And thou shalt never do amiss. Look up that word amiss. So whatever you take in your hand, you just got to remember the end process. And remember the end result, rather. Amiss, not quite right, inappropriate, or out of place. Out of order, defective, unsatisfactory, incorrect. So the Lord is pretty much saying, whatever you take up in your hand, you just got to remember that the end, you got to trust the process. Remember that the end is going to turn out well for you if you put your faith in the Most High.
All right.
You got a precept?
Sirach chapter 40 and verse 23.
Sirach 40 and 23.
The book of Sirach, chapter 40, verse 23. A friend and companion never meet amiss, but above both is a wife with her husband.
That above both is a wife with her husband. That marriage, no, that's a deep thing, man. Marriage is not a light thing. See, the world trivializes marriage. Right? They make, oh, you just married and get a divorce the next year. Or you go on a honeymoon. That's what they make, but marriage is really deep. Marriage is spiritual, man. Marriage is a business, man. Right? Marriage is, it's not a light thing. I just put it out there like that. So, even brothers that don't got wives right now, before you get married, make sure you court that woman, man. That's it. Come on, man. Make sure you know what you get yourself into. Because if you get with a woman that's out of order, that got spirits on her, those spirits can rub off on you. Next thing you know, you out the truth. So your salvation is on the line, man. So make sure you get with a woman that's righteous. And that Proverbs 31 woman. Right? Sirach 26, silent and loving. You got it, brother.
I was going to say Sirach 6 and 7.
Sirach 6 and 7. Yep. Yeah, bring that out, prove a friend. Sirach chapter 6, verse 7.
The book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 7.
Right.
Thou wouldest get a friend. Prove him first.
Do what?
Prove him first.
Prove them first. Not within the week. Talking about you didn't prove them. Brother, it's been a week. Right?
Be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion.
Some man is a friend for his own occasion. So you gotta prove a friend, you gotta try the spirit, because you really don't know why this person around. They might be around you just to put a doctrine on you, or to overthrow you, or to dig into thy pockets and inquire of thy finances. Right? You got it.
They will not abide in the day of thy troubles.
That you're not gonna abide in the day of thy trouble. She might deliver you up during the time of persecution. She's not gonna abide in the day of thy trouble.
Because once you get a wife, what's next?
What's after getting a wife?
More than like 9 times out of 10,
Seeing kids.
right? You don't get a wife just sit on your wife. But more than likely somewhere down the line, you get kids, man. And you don't want to have kids with anybody. You want to have kids with somebody that stares at you at night while you sleep. Not in a cute manner. Not in that manner, but like a weirdo manner. She burn and sage while you sleep.
Look at me. Chicken, and then cook the chicken meal, do all kind of booty spirits on it. You don't want to get with a woman like that, man. Next thing you know, you jammed up. Yeah. Next thing you know, you have a nightmare. Yeah. Every night. Yeah. And that, man, your child got to kind of grow up with a mother that way. Well, Yeah, she got a witch for a mother. And what you want to do about it? You can't make her stop being a witch. I mean, you can pray. You can pray to the Most High. You can fast. It's up to the Lord whether you give her a change of heart. Right? But you got yourself, you know what you was getting yourself into. But you was just looking at the outer value of this woman. Yeah, little, whatever. She might have had a nice, fancy house. You know, she trying to look good. But you knew she do witchcraft, but you just kind of put it, no, it's all good.
And that's what they say in the world. You see all the roses. You can ask like, how does that go? Some with rose tinted glasses. Oh, you can't see the red flags with rose tinted glasses. You know, something like that.
Good one right there. You got it, brother.
October 87.
Toby.
Toby.
Toby, chapter 8 and verse 7. And now, O Lord, I take not this my sister for lust, but uprightly. Therefore, mercifully ordain that we may become aged together.
Mean precept. Don't take her for lust. You can't express that enough, man.
Desire not for pleasure.
We got the stories, man. I want to spill all the stories, but I'm with fellas, man. But hey, I've seen a lot of sisters get there, and you know, we speak to the brothers, but a lot of this applies to the sisters as well. We've seen a lot of sisters that was easy to jump into it. Now they husbands still smoking weed. What do I do? You made your bed. You gotta lie in it. You gotta try to sleep at that. I had a dream that he might have did this and the third. Yeah, why'd you do that? I know the sister. Oh yeah. Okay, see. We know the sister that said I had a dream about it. What dream? You go to Survivor 34.3. She had one dream and said, I gotta move. I gotta go there. That's what sold me.
The book of Sirach, chapter 34 and verse 3. The vision of dreams is a resemblance of one thing to another, even as the likeness of a face to face.
Right? Hey, dreaming is really nothing.
You saw verse 1 for real.
This is dreaming. That's all it is.
If you regard every dream, then you gonna go off. I had a dream, I beat my brother in a push-up contest. You know, yeah, that's folly. Am I gonna exalt myself now? Yeah. You know, that's folly, man.
I know walking around.
Yeah, now I'm doing this. Now I'm thinking, oh, I gotta go to the gym every day now. Look, I'm not gonna regard every dream. I had that dream last night. You got it.
It's the book, you said
Oh.
verse 1? Verse 1? It's the book of Sirach, chapter 34 and verse 1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false.
Right? And that's their hope, right? Once you have a dream, you got hope in your dream now, right? Go ahead.
And dreams lift up fools.
Dreams lift up fools. You put all your hope in a dream. You exalt it to be something. You put it on a pedestal. Now you're moving around your dream. The way you know moving this walk. Now you're moving around your dream. You're studying the dream. You're analyzing it. You're trying to break it down. Yeah, no, that's off. It's more than that game.
Whoso regardeth the dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow and followeth after the wind.
Yeah, I give you $1 million right now if you caught your shadow.
Not catching your shadow. I just want to put it out there. Take it down.
Oh, you can't, bro. Right. Yeah, I keep all the pulls on my feet back to follow after the wind. Ain't gonna happen, you know. So if you're regarding a dream, you're basically a fool, right?
You are a fool. The point we make a little dream ain't gonna tell you who you gonna be with for the rest of your life. A dream ain't gonna do that for you. Straight up, I had a dream about this woman, rather, you know, it might be the one. No, she ain't the one, man. Let me just fly her out.
Let me fly out real quick. Hey, and that's another topic too. That flying out script. I fly out to it real quick. We're just gonna talk about the scriptures.
Man,
No. You ain't just gonna talk about the scriptures, you got a damn hotel room.
Right.
That damn Airbnb spirit. You're gonna talk. You're gonna, I'm gonna try to do this. Look, brother, next thing you know, you wake up. You said what? Yeah. Next thing you know, the next thing you know, you wake up in the bed, you go, what happened? You're all naked, she naked, clothes everywhere. Now in your head, I'm married now. I'm married.
This stuff happens in Israel.
And she looking at you like this. You know.
This is scary, man. This is scary.
I had a few.
You got a precept, brother?
Proverbs 6.
All right, bring it out. Proverbs 6.
For the fellas.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 25. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart.
What the Bible say?
Lust not after her beauty in thine heart.
Nah, man, you can't lust after her beauty in your heart. Now you meditate upon this woman. You supposed to be meditating on the precept, but you meditate on this woman.
Right.
You know, read on.
Neither let her take thee with her eyelids.
With her eyelids. She started batting her eyes. She started playing with her head. Hey, even men in Israel, man.
Yeah.
You got womanizers in Israel. You know, you can't do that, man. You can't do that with it. Keep reading.
For by means of a whorish woman,
By means of a whorish woman. Read on.
a man is brought to a piece of bread.
Man is brought to a piece of bread. He's reduced to nothing. All right.
And this is a precept. Go to Ecclesiastes. They didn't like that. They getting offended, man. Break out, you got it.
But yeah, nonetheless, man, it all goes hand in hand to be your household. Around proving a friend,
Going the right way about
going the right way about it. You know, brothers that already got home, households, and children, we got a greater responsibility. You know, it's even more important with us. We got children, we got responsibility, we have mouths to feed, physically and spiritually. Okay? You got a precept, brother? Jeremiah 2:33.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, and verse 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?
Why you trimming your ways to seek love, man? You sitting up there trimming your ways. You have a respect of persons. You cornering out. You putting off scriptures, putting the Lord on the back burner just to get this woman. You're running out of your wits. You know she got a doctrine, but for the sake of her beauty, you're not dealing with it. You don't want to cut up her doctrine. You sparing her doctrine because she's beautiful.
And that's a respected person.
Yeah.
We going through that on Facebook.
Yeah.
She like, man, she's so fine. Okay, say something.
Yeah. That's what they do.
Listen yourself. You believe it in the lie now. So is it really marriage? But we didn't sign it off, so I don't know.
Kind of scratching his head.
Yeah, maybe I should revisit that topic. And I bring the Holy Spirit in this room.
I got a quick point. It was this Eve.
Oh, you got to speak up.
Oh, it's this Eve. Her name on Facebook, Queen Solomon. She got Jake believing that eating meat is a sin.
See that? You put enchantments upon Jacob.
You got it, brother.
Sirach chapter 7, verse 22.
John, Sirach 27. What?
Chapter 7, verse 26.
John, Sirach 26.
The book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 26.
This is equated. This we talking about the men too, man. It's not just the women, because you got all men in Israel. You got men that got spirits on them, man. Straight up and down. You got it.
Sirach, chapter 7, verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman.
Give not thyself over to a light woman.
And
And I was just gonna say, women, you gotta prove these men. Right? Because men, you know, men be having agendas. They have crafty counsel. They have secret plots. You know, so on and so forth. So women prove these men in the truth as well, man. You know, precepts.
Yeah.
Precepts.
man versus
Yeah. Wicked men that know the precepts. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, some heathen know the precepts, you know. Esau be breaking down Daniel, man.
Yeah, so right, 11 and 2.
So, hey, even Satan himself is transformed to an angel of light. So we gotta try the spirit. Don't be that naive. Don't understand.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 11, verse 2. Commend not a man for his beauty.
Oh, he got a big fat beard. Let me talk to him. Oh, I like the way his eyes
That's what
are
he's doing it too.
Yeah. And I told you, hey, don't be looking. I told this one sister a long time ago, years ago, I said, look, don't be looking for that man that's 6'4", got a big beard, who got a big old car in the house, and he wicked. You see him with fringes one time, you just assume he's a super righteous man. Well, don't do that. You're moving off lust.
And that's what happens in Israel. Like, we know these things, we've seen these things, we heard these things.
And now she's miserable. It's still worth painting sometimes.
Yeah, this stuff happens, man. Same thing with Jake and women. She is a woman, she's beautiful, she got a dress and hair wrap on. You start sweating, man. Like you lose your, your wits, man.
Hey, that man that's 5'7" with no beard, maybe his hairline receded. Hey, that might be the man for you. And it's hard. It might be hard for you to accept that. That might be a righteous king. That might be a prophet on earth again.
Israel coming this thing is still caught up in the glitz and glamour of the world. Right. So they see a man with a huge deal in his face. Brother got the gold teeth. Right, brother got the waves on his
He got a poor looking scar.
Brother might go to the gym, he got the fringes. The brother might go out and teach, he might do his thing. But guess what? He might be a damn hypocrite. Right? He might be an adulterer.
Watch porn after every Sabbath.
Damn.
Immediately. See, you don't know what you're dealing with, man. Go ahead and kill somebody, once a month.
Yeah. Be a murderer.
You get drunk.
Yeah.
And we get that you got spirits, but these type of men, they don't have any remorse. They don't give a damn. You got men that's like that. They don't have any remorse.
Right.
He could be a woman hater.
He could be a woman hater. He could disrespect his parents.
That's
You
scary.
never know. This man could be a total demon. Got it.
Jeremiah 9
So-
and 4.
God, so the point we making is don't get caught up in the glitz and glamour. Right? Please don't get caught up in that.
It goes up to 5. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 9 and verse 4. Take ye heed every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother.
Trust you not in any brother. Read on.
For every brother will utterly supplant.
See, you got men that supplant other men in this thing. They set men up.
And
Right.
every neighbor will walk with slanders.
And you got men that walk with slanders, man. You got women that's gossipers in this thing. They trying to get all the information out of you so she can relay it to someone else. Trying to get the inside scoop. Yeah, man, these things happen in Israel.
And they will deceive everyone his neighbor and will not speak the truth.
And they not what?
Speak the truth.
You got a lot of liars in Israel that don't speak the truth. Read on.
They have taught their tongue to speak lies.
And then it's like manipulation is a lie. Yeah. You might be real subtle with it, but look, that's still a lie, brother. You're lying to get what you want out of this, woman, or a woman you lying to get what you want out of this man. Keep reading.
And worry themselves to commit iniquity.
And worry themselves to commit iniquity.
Hey, and when you're looking for a sister, man, you can't just assume everything's perfect. You gotta understand she's gonna have her issues. Right? We go look for a house. You can't just expect that house all the time. It look nice, therefore nothing's wrong with it. Nah, brother. Maybe that outlet don't work. That toilet might be jammed up. Maybe your pipes are a little frozen or rusty. You can't just assume everything's nice. Don't be a white wall. You go to Mike at 7 and 14.
I want a wise saying in the world that people used to say, just because it's Denzel, it doesn't mean Denzel's going to act like the Denzel you have in your mind.
Yeah. You got it. Mike is 7 and 4. I might take that.
The book of Micah, chapter 7 and verse 4. The best of them is as a briar. The most upright is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of thy watchman and thy visitation cometh. Now it shall be their profession.
Would you read?
Micah 7 and 4. Going to verse 5.
Break it down.
No, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, Slovakia. 7 and 5. That's what I wanted. I don't know why I said 4 Slovakia.
well, you get the context. Verse 5. Trust ye not in a friend, but put ye not confidence in a God. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom.
Who's lying at your bosom? Don't say that's wisdom now. Hey, that's your woman, man. You know, don't tell your woman everything either. You know, you don't got to be an open book to her. Obviously, communicate with her. You know, if she's going off,
That's not a problem. That might put a spirit on you.
right? Yeah. Right. You start bringing up, hey man, you know. You start bringing up some stuff that could be offensive, which really isn't offensive, but could be to her. Don't be a nigga. You know.
Hey, it's a time to speak and it's a time to refrain from speaking.
You gotta be, like brother said, man, you gotta, use wisdom. Don't tell her every damn thought.
So I let her all the time.
Yeah, that's how rotate. So what? I'm just an example, but you got it.
The book of Sirach, chapter 32 and verse 7. Speak, young man, if there be need of thee, and yet scarcely when thou art twice had.
Right?
Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth, and yet holdeth his tongue.
You gotta be as one that knows, and you gotta hold your tongue sometimes. You wanna know what things can trigger an argument. You gotta know what things can trigger X, Y, and Z in this conversation, that conversation. You gotta be wise and use, wisdom when you speak to people. Not only with your brothers getting up in the highways and byways and Esau and that word, right? But also with your woman as well. And that applies everything. A lot of what we said applies to man, it applies to women as well. Don't just sit back and don't think you gotta watch this because we just, hey, this applies to you as well. We try to listen to this.
That's right. Can't take Isaiah 58:1 all the time. Say, spirit not. You gotta do.
See you. You got it, brother.
Proverbs 15:1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger.
Plain upon tables. Plain upon tables. If you make you some dinner, and you say, why is late? Or you say, it smells, but don't be that guy. Just be appreciative. Know that she tried her best.
Where's my damn hot sauce?
Yeah, where's my hot sauce? You start, you doing this with a thing. Food. I want food. Like a big old baby, man. Don't be a lion in your household. You gotta throw the food out. You toss the food, throw it out. You kind of put it in the trash with the plate upside down. Because you know how they do it, the cook-ups. Yeah, they fold it upside down because it wasn't good. Don't do that in your house. We know what that means. Israel know what that means. Yeah, I did it a few times, but I don't have a rib, but the point is, you got to know how to behave wisely, right? Not only at work, dealing with Esau, co-workers, interviews. You got to know how to deal wisely with your woman as well.
Wisdom requires skill.
Yeah. Even though he was going off, but like in the movie Baby Boys, remember he said, I didn't tell you these things because I care about your feelings. You got to care about your woman's feelings. Not everything you see is for her to know. If you told her everything, it would be argued.
Yeah.
So you got to know your woman.
There's levels to this thing, And again, like the brother said, when you listen, don't just, if you tell a brother, oh yeah, I just listen to it. Don't let that brother say you a sin. He watched all those videos on YouTube on how to do this and the third. And you're not going to see that man with a woman, man. Because he listening to Esau and his philosophy. He getting counsel from him. Yeah, you got to be what did he say? You be an alpha lion, man. Don't be an alpha lion. And in the household. Yeah, just being a nigga. You gotta be righteously mature and manly in this thing. In righteousness.
I'll be diplomatic, man.
Yeah, if you want to go off, get on her then in righteousness.
You got to sit her down and look in her eye and say, look, I love you, but you said you're doing enough.
Yeah, that's one way. Yeah. Don't tear your garments in anger. You're going off. Fast now.
Damn.
Go ahead, brother.
classic. Colossians 4:6.
Book of Colossians, chapter 4 and verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace,
Speech be always with grace.
seasoned with salt.
Even with salt, man. Like salt in your speech, man. Use wisdom.
Do you put salt? Do you overuse salt? No, use a little bit of salt, just a little bit, so the message comes across clean. Don't use a lot. Now it makes it seem like you soft now, and you just allow her to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. Don't be that guy. You see her wearing pants, you're looking at her pants, and you kind of just, then you gonna play TK. So,
That ye may know how ye ought to answer every man.
How you ought to answer every man. So you gotta know how to answer every man. You gotta know how to deal with people in this thing. So yeah. All praise to Yahweh by Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. And with that concludes the first lesson, which is getting your household in order to live